Welcome to Kitchens. I'm Melvin Tan. 礼拜一的早上9点05分，希望大家周末都过得愉快。我是 Melvin Tan. As many of you may know, by day I'm a radio DJ, and by night I'm a TV news anchorman. Come weekends, it's all about food for me. From entertaining at home with friends to trying some of the best restaurants that Taipei has to offer. As far as cuisine goes, Taipei is one of the cities with the best diverse food selections in the world. From local delicacies to regional Chinese food, Asian and Western style restaurants, and that's why I love the city so much. Another one of my favorite things to do is grocery shopping at a traditional market like this one over the weekend before I cook for my guests, where I can find the freshest produce. Some are uniquely Taiwanese. Located in the heart of Taipei's bustling eastern district off the famous 忠孝东路216巷, which is Zhongxiao East Road, LE 216, where you can find the famous Din Tai Fung, Eastern Shaved Ice Store, and other great restaurants. Buying freshly picked organic produce from these farmers also allows you to directly ask them any questions you may have. After shopping, it's time to visit my favorite restaurant. It's RUE 216, a French bistro. I'm going to talk to the boss and also the chef owner to see what he can do with everything I bought today. Maybe you can turn this into some new cuisine. Who knows? Let's check it out. Owner and chef Alex Hsu studied at Le Cordon Bleu. He also worked in some of the restaurants in southern France. His restaurant offers patrons a relaxed dining atmosphere, dishes prepared with fresh, in-season ingredients at reasonable prices, and everything is homemade. This southern French country cuisine bistro is popular with the young professional crowd. Okay, first time in chef's jacket, I'm very nervous. So as Alex had suggested, of all the stuff I bought today, we're going to make a pasta dish, and we're going to grind everything ourselves. So I bought some great piece of black hog's meat. We're going to grind this ourselves. So we have to, what do we do?
Just like take off the skin and then cut out the cartilage.
How much fat do you want to leave on the skin?
As much as possible.
Really? So just take out the skin then?
Yeah, I mean, what's interesting is that me personally, I actually have no problem leaving the skin on.
Right.
And I remember making like a braised pork belly dish
with the
school,
skin.
And then the teacher was like flabbergasted that I was going to leave the skin on.
Really?
So yeah, I don't
Isn't
know.
that where all the flavor is?
You would think so, right? Especially if you ground it up, you should not really notice it. And
right.
Because it has a lot of cartilages.
Right.
So,
well,
but anyway.
So we're not going to do it.
Yeah.
And so we're also going to put some mushrooms that I bought into the pasta today.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you usually do with the mushroom? What do you do with it? Do you call it stem?
Well, in this case, since we're going to like actually chop it up in the food processor,
yes.
So then we just need to cut it into big chunks, so that it's easier.
Okay.
And then I'm Chinese, so I keep everything. I keep the stem,
okay.
the whole 9 yards.
All right. So just irregularly cut this up, so it's easier for the machine. And also, this is going to go into what? The meat?
It's going to go into the meat as flavoring.
I love rosemary. They're so good. And I know this. You don't have to teach me. This is the best way to remove the rosemary leaves.
Oh, at once.
And what about the top? Top is a little bit tricky though. You can't do it the other way.
You do it very carefully.
Very carefully. All right. So here's another one. Do we chop this off?
Yes.
This is a test of my
mincing skills.
Mincing skill. Okay. Like this. Until like how fine of this?
Until maybe like 0.1 to 2 millimeter.
I don't have a ruler here.
So yes.
Okay, so when we're done with this, we chop up the pork, and what we're going to do is we're going to grind it. Okay, so we're also going to chop this into pieces too, right?
So just like thin strips.
What do you mean strips?
Just cut vertically.
Okay, so we cut this into little strips. And like we said earlier, it's all about homemade. A lot of times we go to restaurants, we want to pay for quality food, and you guys, just like they do in France, everything is homemade. That's a trend, right? And then especially, I love to know what kind of food I can get from the chef. And as we prepare this, we're gonna ground the meat. I have some questions for you. What do chefs eat? What do you eat?
We food like everyone else.
Like this, or I mean, after a whole day of cooking.
Yeah, cooking is all about tasting.
So basically, after all day of cooking, you pretty much are full.
Yeah. So then if I go out and eat, right? Like I actually prefer like Japanese food or something different. Except when I'm doing due diligence and checking out the competition.
Okay. Voila! So freshly ground. Okay, so chef told me to put this brine in. What is this?
Well, it's basically salt, club soda, and water.
Okay.
So it basically makes the meat more juicy.
Okay.
And we would like let the meat kind of, marinate in this solution for about 1 hour.
Okay. And of course, we always need to add salt and pepper. So here's the pepper. How much do we need to add this for?
Just by feel.
By feel?
Like the recipe says like half a teaspoon, but...
It really is personal preference. A lot of times you don't really just stick to the recipe.
Exactly.
And that's it, right?
Exactly, yep.
We're gonna wait for how long?
Wait for about 1 hour.
Okay, good. Okay. We'll let it sit,
right.
And we're gonna come back with the finishing process.
Excellent.
We also chopped up some rosemary, if you remember, so we're gonna put this in. And my sous chef said we're also gonna add some nutmeg. Nutmeg to flavor the meat, and that's pretty much it. And we're gonna knit this. And the reason we're doing this is because, see, everything's in here, and we're just going to combine this. And the purpose we're doing this is because of what?
When you need ground meat, the meat would develop a fiber and the texture, so that first of all it becomes better tasting, and secondly the meat would start to stick together.
Okay.
Because what we're going to make is basically a sausage meat. So then we don't want in the pasta the meat falls apart.
Okay. And I remember when I was a kid, when we make beef ball or Chinese style pork ball with my grandpa, my dad, we do this all the time, and to me, this is a fun thing to do. It's like playing with Play-Doh. And, when you have kids, let them try cooking. Let them experience this part of life, and they are going to love it. All right, we're done kneading, and this is the finishing product. We have the ground meat, and we're gonna put this in, separate this in two, and pat it down, right?
Yes.
So this is our homemade sausage meat for the pasta. Done, done, looks great. Look at the color in this. All right, so next step, my sous chef. All right, it's very hot, so I have to be very careful when I put the meat in. We're just gonna let it sit on one side. And how long am I cooking this for?
About 2 to 3 minutes on one side.
On one side.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's very important not to move it and not to touch it.
Right.
Just let it cook.
Let it be. Let it cook. I think a lot of times our problem with cooking is we love to touch it. We love to touch it, especially when we cook a piece of meat and we keep flipping it. No, that's not the way, right?
That's not the way.
One side and flip to the other side, and just don't do too much to it. It will do its own trick. So it smells so good. You know what? The
you can smell rosemary, right?
Rosemary is so flavorful, very fragrant.
Yeah.
And I love to rub rosemary on my finger just to smell it. So that's me. That's me. This is pretty hot. So what's the heat? What's the heat here?
About medium
heat. Medium heat.
Because you want to the crust to develop slowly.
Okay.
And otherwise it will burn.
So we fried the patty, and now we're gonna cut this up. This is a basically sausage patty. We're gonna cut this up into little cubes. Little cubes, we're gonna go back to the pan. And this is gonna return to the pan. It's very, very hot right now. Very hot, very hot. Oh, this looks so good.
As you can see.
So my sous chef, is this good enough or is this too big?
Fabulous.
Oh, fabulous. So we're going to bring this back to the pan again. Yeah? Or no?
We're gonna like basically soak it in cream.
Okay.
So let the cream infuse into the meat.
Oh, infusion. I love infusion. Anything infused gets my attention.
Excellent.
I don't know how much. Tell me when to stop.
Just until it's about like 90% covered.
Oh, really? Like this?
Yes, that's perfect.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay, how long is the bath gonna be? This is an ice bath, right? We stop it from cooking, no?
Yes, that too.
Okay.
It actually doesn't need to be that long, you know. But then in the meantime, we need to like finish our mushroom process.
Okay, we're gonna do the mushroom. I chopped up some mushroom earlier, and then we're using a food processor to finely chop it. There you go. So the consistency will be just like the ground pork. And this is all gonna go into the pan before we cook the pasta. And since I am the chef in the kitchen today, I'm going to let my sous chef do some of the dirty work. So this is very simple saute, so I'm not gonna do it. So he's gonna show you. And this is also a way for him to practice. Yes, he needs to practice.
Thank you, chef.
To become the owner.
Thank you, chef. Yes, we basically just want to saute it until, you know, it's like nice and dry.
Now after the mushroom has been sauteed, the meat goes in. Do we also let it sit?
Yeah, you just add a little water, just let it reduce for a little bit.
Okay.
Add in some splash of white wine.
Wine.
That is French cooking. Just let it reduce.
Okay. So now is the part that we test our patience. Okay, so we've made the reduction, and I've changed the pan to a smaller pan. Now I have already cooked some pasta, and we're going to just quickly soften the pasta and let the pasta soak up the juice, and this dish is pretty much done. And after you add the pasta, the sauce will thicken. And of course you need cheese, right? A lot of times when you have too thin of a sauce, another way to thicken the sauce is to add cheese. It'll thicken the sauce. And there is no right amount. You put in as much as you want. Don't forget we need some color. So here is some chopped parsley to add some little color to it. Done. Oh, the finishing touch. Just a few. How would you do it?
Oh, just like I mean,
The whole thing?
just a decoration. Yeah,
Like that. Like that.
well, that's what we usually do it.
Like that. Aha!
There's really no right answer.
So see, that is the difference between amateur chef and no,
come
amateur
on.
right here.
Oh, come on.
Professional
Oh, yeah,
chef.
okay. There you go.
So this is our dish today. What is this?
This is pasta alla nocina. Basically,
Nocina.
just pasta with sausage and cream. Penne pasta with sausage and cream. Hope you like it.
I do. Okay, after all day of cooking, this amateur chef is going to enjoy professional chef Alex great cooking at Bistro RUE 216. We learned a lot of cooking tips today. Next episodes of Kitchens, we're going to go back to my kitchen and use that tip I learned today from the restaurant into Chinese cooking. So until next time, enjoy your food and keep on cooking. I'm going to start my dinner. See you next time.